Hey, good morning from Sycamore Crossing. I'm Rick, your host this morning. BKP is out of town. As most of you know, he's been broadcasting live from the deck of his family home in Pennsylvania, but he'll be back with you Monday. He's going to be traveling over the weekend to come back and join us. We're here at beautiful Sycamore Crossing. We've got a full show for you today. We've got a surprise guest on the All-Star panel. That would be my wife, Cindy, and Bruce will join us. Doc is out of town. Jane is out of town. And most of you know, Jane and Doc Whaley are married. They are traveling in Russia this morning. Jane sent me a note the other day that she found a jewel-encrusted crown that she thinks should be his, so we'll see if she brings that back with her. But we've got a special guest with us today, subbing for the doc, and that is Justin Nicholson. Justin works with Dr. Whaley at Georgia Cancer Specialists from Northside Hospital. He is a nurse practitioner, grew up in the area. He's a hometown boy, so it's going to be fun to have him substitute for Doc this morning. I'm going to throw him a little curveball right out of the box, but it won't be that bad. Then we've got the All-Star panel. We've got Jesse Barton from Cameron Hall, and then we're going to finish the show with the Pet of the Week. The Pet of the Week this morning. It's always a surprise to see our guests from the Humane Society. We're going to cover some ground today with the All-Star panel, and I don't know if any of you out there listen to Rush Limbaugh during the week, but I do religiously when I can. He brought up a piece that was in the New York Times written by Nate Cohn, C-O-H-N, and it said, "Don't assume Trump's approval ratings can't climb higher because it already has." You know, there's been so much garbage in the news media this week about deplorables and about racist thoughts, about white supremacy. And I'm telling you, folks, the not only the base, but a lot of the independent voters in this country are not happy. They are mad. They've been lumped into a category just arbitrarily by the Democrats that are painting them as racists, homophobes, misogynists. You take your pick, but it's just not pretty, and people are not happy. They are not happy with the slate of candidates that are being portrayed as viable candidates against Trump in 2020, and it's just gotten really divisive, however you want to say it. And I think we're going to cover some of that today with the All-Star panel. But when we come back from the short break here, we're going to bring Justin Nicholson, a colleague of Doc Whaley's, and he's going to cover a couple areas that probably touch a lot of our lives out there. Get into a little sleep apnea, get into a little cholesterol issues. He'll have some charts and graphs for us, and he's going to take us through some of the daily woes that we all suffer from. So I'm glad to be here this morning. You're going to hear some noise. We're gonna take advantage of the sights and the sounds of the city this morning in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge, right here at Sycamore Crossing. And with a short break, we'll be back with Justin.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we are back. Good morning from the office. I'm Rick, your host this morning. We're going to have the All-Star panel coming up, but this is our long-awaited segment with Ask the Doc. No, this is not Dr. Whaley. Dr. Whaley is traveling this morning in Russia with his charming wife Jane, a member of the All-Star panel with myself. Justin comes to us this morning. Justin Nicholson, a nurse practitioner, a colleague of Dr. Whaley, and he comes to us from the cancer Georgia Cancer Specialist,
Yes.
affiliated with Northside Hospital.
That's it.
I don't know why I've got a mental block about that, Justin. I'm telling you.
That's okay.
But anyway, he will fill in for Doc this morning, and I told him I was going to throw him a curveball, and I'm going to throw him a curveball. People out in the public do not realize when I say nurse practitioner or I say physician assistant, just for a little knowledge out there for you that are tuning in, those terms, sometimes those people vie for the same jobs. Mm-hmm. They are very synonymous, I think, in the marketplace, in the medical profession. You don't know what an invaluable service a guy like Justin and PAs provide out there. They're a stopgap measure, if you will. The docs are the MDs are so busy that these two levels of education have become so popular that they are able to take a lot of the load off of the physicians. And correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. Your education level is such that if you're a nurse practitioner, you take an education discipline to the nursing side, whereas a PA would take it to the medical side. And a lot of times they'll take a job, he or she will take a job that is surgery related, things like that.
Correct.
Will you care to expand on that and just give a little bit of background to that level of education, what services you're able to provide?
Sure.
That that maybe that are on the same level as a doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So, nurse practitioners and physician's assistants both, they have what's called prescriptive authority in the state of Georgia. So, both of those.
So you can evaluate a patient,
Mm-hmm.
and you can determine if there's a condition that you've determined is in need of a prescription. You can write without any other doc looking over your shoulder, basically.
Sure. Yeah, to some extent. You can evaluate, diagnose, manage. Nurse practitioners and I believe PAs both in the state of Georgia, they can't prescribe certain medications like Schedule 2 drugs. Schedule 2 drugs. You can prescribe Schedule 3, but not Schedule 2.
Schedule 2 drugs is something analogous to like a
an opioid.
Yeah, an opioid. Okay.
Yeah, hydrocodone.
Right. Okay.
Stuff like that. But I mean, there's very similar, synonymous things between a nurse practitioner and a physician assistant. But the difference is, as far as a physician assistant, by definition, they have to be with the physician at all times.
It's kind of like a real estate agent coming under a broker's license, if
Sure.
you will.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm just trying to paint a picture here, folks, to show you what how these folks operate in the medical community.
Some states, nurse practitioners now have full practice authority where they can practice independently. That's not Georgia, but mostly in the Midwest, Northwest, some of those states.
You're a hometown guy. You grew up in Ducktown.
Yes, sir.
Where did you do your education?
I have a degree in biology from Augusta State University in Augusta, Georgia. After that, I went to nursing school at Kennesaw State University, and I decided
Great
to
nursing school there.
It is. It's fantastic. And I received my nurse practitioner degree at University of North Georgia in Dahlonega.
I got you. So, is that the highest level that a nurse can attain?
No. So my nurse practitioner degree is a master's degree.
Okay.
You can go further with a DNP, which is a doctorate of nursing practice.
I got you.
Yeah. Most of the people who receive a DNP, they either teach or it's a little bit different than a PhD where you go into research. DNPs usually teach, or I mean some practicing nurse practitioners are getting their DNP.
I got you. I got you. So I just a lot of times we walk into a doctor's office and you're expecting to see the doctor, and then all of a sudden someone says, well, you're going to see the nurse practitioner. you're going to see the physician's assistant, and you sit there and you roll your eyes. Don't roll your eyes, folks. These people they perform an invaluable service to take the pressure off the docs and cut through the red tape, basically. And, you know, a lot of times if I'm going to my orthopedic person, I'd rather see the PA, because they get right in, they tell you what's going on, and you don't have to sit and wait for 45 minutes to an hour. So, I'm trying to throw you a bone
Yeah,
here
I appreciate that. I do.
Because
Thank
you gentlemen and ladies, you provide a great service in the medical community.
Thank you.
So anyway, I didn't mean to throw Justin a curveball, but I did anyway. So
okay.
Let's get into the questions. All right. So the question number one. Not me, but I'm a 58-year-old woman, and my cholesterol has been high. My cholesterol was high on my most recent labs, and my doctor wanted to put me on cholesterol Excuse me. It's never been high. The cholesterol has never been high till she went and did a blood panel with the doc, and now my cholesterol was high on my most recent labs. My doctor wanted me to be put on cholesterol medication. Do I really need to start taking a medication?
It's a good question. We don't really have as much information as what we need to make that determination.
Are we okay on sound? Yeah.
So we need to know some other things, like, does she have high blood pressure? Does she smoke? Does she have any history of diabetes? Because all those things play a factor into the decision to start somebody on a cholesterol medicine. When I was in school, the American College of Cardiology came out with a calculator, if you will. And what it is, you can put in information to decide if somebody needs a cholesterol medicine. Before that, there was an algorithm, and it was really hard to follow.
It's like using a slide rule. Huh?
Yeah, if this, then this. If this age, then this. So this calculator make it really easy to decide if somebody needed a cholesterol medicine. And so I took the liberty creating some information to see if, to really show how this calculator works. You can use it at home. It's free. All you have to do is search ASCVD risk calculator.
Say that again.
ASCVD, which stands for atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease.
Okay.
Risk calculator. And on the first slide that I have today, under inputs, it shows an age. She's 58 years old.
Okay.
Total cholesterol, 268. So her cholesterol is high. We want that below 200. HDL cholesterol, and we know that is the good cholesterol.
That's a good one.
That's the good one that helps.
The
clean up.
HDL is the good. The LDL is the bad.
Correct.
All right.
Correct. So we want the HDL is really as high as we can get it, above 40, for a woman above 60. LDL is bad cholesterol. We want this below 100, and hers is 172. Systolic blood pressure, she has a little bit of hypertension. 58 years old, we want her systolic blood pressure below 140. So she has a little bit of a high blood pressure issue. She doesn't have diabetes. Former smoker. She's on a treatment for high blood pressure. She's not on an aspirin. And she's not taking a statin medication for cholesterol. Okay.
Statin medication is a cholesterol drug.
Yes, correct.
So you put those all into the formula.
Yes.
And
So-
magically it comes up with...
Yeah, so if you put all this information in on the next slide, it shows her current 10-year ASCVD risk is 8.4%. So what that means is she has an 8.4% chance of having a stroke or a heart attack within the next 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So, and also gives...
That might be scary to look at. I plug my stuff in and it says
Yeah.
I'm going to die on Thursday or something like that.
I put mine in personally.
Do you?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So her lifetime risk is about 50%, and then at the top it says optimal ASCVD risk is 1.9%. And what that means is if she starts a medicine, if she's required to or recommended to, and she does everything else that's necessary, such as weight loss, getting her blood pressure down, eating healthy foods, then her optimal risk is down to 1.9% of having a cardiovascular.
So it even plugs in a goal for you, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Do this and you can be this.
Yeah, and it also gives recommendations and treatment options. It's a great tool. So you see the information that's plugged in on that slide. And if you go to the next slide, say we need to start her on a cholesterol medicine.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look towards
what are a couple of the ones that you see on TV all the time? A couple of medicines that people will...
Crestor,
okay.
Lipitor,
Crestor, Lipitor.
Yeah.
And without screwing up your chain of thought here, don't those have a risk of liver impairment?
They do. They do.
And so what should you be... What do people that are on cholesterol statins, cholesterol drugs, what do they do to make sure that it doesn't have any liver impairment long term?
Yeah, so your primary care doctor, I'm sure they're doing this, but every 6 months you should have what's called a metabolic profile.
Okay.
Which includes some liver enzymes to be sure that your liver enzymes aren't being elevated while you're on the cholesterol medicine.
Okay.
That's a low percentage of patients that are on.
All right.
But there is that risk.
Yeah.
So
excuse me. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. So with a cholesterol medication, just starting that, she drops from an 8.4% risk down to a 6.3% risk with statin therapy. So I mentioned earlier her blood pressure was elevated.
Right.
All right.
142. You wanted somewhere around 140, 130 for a 58-year-old woman.
Below 140. 139 is okay.
Yeah.
So say we start on a blood pressure medicine. That drops her even further from an 8.4% down to a 4.6% risk of having a cardiovascular event, so a stroke or a heart attack within the next 10 years. Okay.
Now, tell me about, I've heard that cholesterol is something that you're susceptible to through genetics.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, luckily, even though I'm a little pudgy here and there, I'm 71. I've never had a cholesterol issue.
Yeah.
I mean, every time they run a panel, I go, "How's the cholesterol?" It's fine.
Yeah.
It's well within the limits.
Yeah.
My parents never had any cholesterol issues.
Correct.
So I'm assuming that someone that's fit as a fiddle can. I used to work with a guy that used to eat just a turkey sandwich every day, and he would watch his weight, and he was fit as can be. His cholesterol was off the chart.
Yeah.
And that's because of genetics.
Sure.
Yeah.
My grandmother, she was thin as a rail. I mean, as thin as can be, and she had the highest cholesterol of anybody I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a fancy diagnosis for that, and it's called familial hypercholesterolemia, which means that you create more cholesterol than say an average person, because around 70 to 80% of our cholesterol is produced by our liver, because we have to have some good cholesterol in our body. And then probably 20 to 30% of that cholesterol is from our diet.
I got you.
Yeah. So genetics, you're correct, it absolutely plays a part in it.
I got you.
Yeah. So let's just kill this woman's day and say that she has diabetes too. Okay. All right. So with diabetes on the next slide, that automatically doubles her risk.
Wow.
So she went from an 8.4% to a 15.7% of having a cardiovascular event in the next 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that just goes to show, when somebody has diabetes, they almost always get started on a statin medicine.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So going a little bit further, there's treatment advice. So this calculator gives us a recommendation of what type of medication to start for this woman. Statins aren't all the same. There's low intensity statins, medium intensity or moderate intensity, and then there's high intensity statins.
Is this a drug that you need to ramp up, or do you come right out of the box with whatever dosage you're gonna plant?
Yeah. So if this is my patient I use this calculator, and if it recommends, like this slide says, moderate intensity statin, I start her on a moderate intensity statin.
I got you.
If it doesn't decrease her cholesterol, specifically the LDL, to the point that I want it, then you can ramp up.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, how does she, as a 58-year-old woman with high cholesterol, how does she ameliorate her situation? Diet?
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Diet, exercise. Exercise is the number one way to increase that HDL, your good cholesterol.
Oh, okay.
So, making sure that you...
So get your buns out there and get
Yes,
moving, huh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Moving. She doesn't have to run a marathon.
Right.
She doesn't have to be Dr. Whaley. But but if she starts walking consistently, daily, I will use one of his tactics to begin, say, 15 minutes a day, increase by 5 minutes a week per day. She's going to get her HDL up, and it's going to help her cholesterol levels.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That, I mean, I can't tell you how invaluable this information is to folks out there who may be suffering from, elevated cholesterol. Pay attention to what Justin is saying. Once again, we covered the nurse practitioner side. We gave a little shout out to the PAs out there. Mm-hmm. They're an invaluable tool out there to the medical profession. And if you're not seeing the doc, see one of these guys or gals. And let's see, should we go to the next question?
Sure.
Are you ready for that, or you got more to talk about cholesterol?
I'm ready.
This is a good one. My wife says I snore every night. You say that? My wife is in the background back there, wagging her head back there.
Yes.
My wife says I snore every night, and she's concerned that I might have sleep apnea. Should I ask my doctor about this, or what's the next step? And it takes one to know one. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. But talk to me about sleep apnea. You hear about, you see these people. Let's go out to breakfast, honey. Okay, we're sitting at breakfast. All of a sudden, you see this guy come in with these strap marks on his face because he's been saddled all night with this respirator.
Sure. Yeah.
With this machine on his face that I don't know what it's doing, but. Talk to me about sleep apnea.
Okay, so with sleep apnea, we have what's called fragmented sleep. Okay, and what I mean by that is that, somebody with sleep apnea, the back of their tongue kind of falls backwards, and it narrows their airway, so they don't get as much oxygenation or airflow to their lungs while they sleep.
Now, this is a mouth breather?
Yeah, this is a mouth breather. We're talking about obstructive sleep apnea.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that fragmented sleep, what I mean by that is that they fall asleep, they start snoring because that falls back into their throat, and they're not getting that good airflow. And our bodies are really smart, and they can recognize that our oxygen levels are decreasing. When that happens, it wakes you up just a little bit. Not enough to where you can say, oh, it's 2 o'clock, but just enough to where you can correct your breathing. That happens, you fall back asleep, and the cycle repeats itself. So it's not good quality sleep. And that's why you see, somebody with untreated sleep apnea, they feel pretty terrible during the day. They're sleepy all the time. They're the person that can sit down just for a moment and they fall asleep.
Right.
Yeah.
I can do that in the afternoon.
Can you?
Well, yeah, I got to take my 20 in the afternoon sometimes.
Yeah.
But so you're diagnosed with sleep apnea. Does that mean you have to do a sleep study?
Well, before you're diagnosed, you do a sleep study.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a couple of different types of sleep studies. You can do one at home, or you can do one in a sleep lab. Yeah.
How do you do it at home?
So they have home sleep study tests.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they do.
We got sounds of the city this morning. We got the food trucks coming in.
Sure.
We've already heard the train whistle blow 3 times. But anyway, sorry.
So the in-lab sleep study, so where you go to perform a sleep study, that's always going to be the gold standard. There was a study came out about a year ago that said that they're pretty equivalent at determining diagnosing sleep apnea.
Wow.
So I give my patients the choice, whatever is convenient for them, letting them know that the gold standard is always an in-lab sleep
So
study.
you get patients coming to you that said, I just can't sleep at night. I wake up tired. I hear that from a lot of people. I
Yeah.
wake up tired in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's America. We all work really hard, so everybody's tired. But if I see some of the risk factors, I start asking them about other things like snoring and such.
And is it preventable?
To some degree, yes. Yes, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you can't really help.
You
but,
go.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard of a Dr. Colin Sullivan?
I have not.
Okay. Dr. Colin Sullivan is an Australian physician, and back in 1980,
Okay.
he discovered that if you provide continuous airway pressure, pressure to your nose or your mouth, these people with sleep apnea, they don't snore, they don't have as many apneic events where they stop breathing, and they don't have that sleep fragmentation that I spoke of. And he did this with a vacuum cleaner motor.
Eureka!
Yeah.
I found the cure!
He did. Pretty ingenious.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So what did he do? He just used a vacuum cleaner motor and
yeah.
And made a mask?
Made a mask.
Okay.
I think his was a nasal cannula, so he put it over the patient's nose. And it
Just
was,
like a two-pronged cannula.
No, I think it was more of a
So
a mask over the nose.
it was
Yeah.
fixed and it was
I don't have pictures of it. It was probably very
okay.
rudimentary.
It was 1980. What the heck?
Yeah, that's before I was born. So.
Yeah. Now you're dating me now. Go ahead.
So the guy woke up, felt amazing, the best he had felt in years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but looking at this, well, the short answer to the question is yes. I think you should go see your doctor, see if you qualify for a sleep study. And looking at this table 3, here are some of the questions that we ask ourselves as providers if this patient needs a sleep study. So you're more at risk if you're obese, and you're also more at risk if you're what this word retrognathic. And retrognathic, and that's a fancy word for saying that your jaw, your mandible, is a little bit recessed. It's a little bit pushed back. Mine's actually like that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Or
profiles encourage.
Yeah, yeah. Does the patient complain of daytime sleepiness, like you said, falling asleep in the afternoon?
Right.
Yeah. Does the patient snore, and do they have high blood pressure? So
those are all factors that contribute to
sleep apnea.
Okay.
Absolutely. On the next table 4, these are symptoms that I talk to either like if I had you and your wife was there, I would ask your wife, does he snore? And how bad does he snore?
She's back there laughing.
Yeah, does he shake the room, or is it just a quiet snore? Does he stop breathing? Do you ever witness him stop breathing? Or gasping, choking at night? Some of those are listed here.
Right.
Non-refreshing sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you should feel refreshed. You should feel better. You shouldn't feel like you hadn't slept at all when you've had 7-8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So morning headaches, that's another big one. I have some patients complain of morning headaches.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've never heard that associated with sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No kidding.
Yep.
All right.
On the next page, these are the things that I'm looking for to send somebody for a sleep study. So, are they obese? Is their BMI greater than 30? Do they have a crowded or a narrow posterior oropharynx? So that's a fancy. That's a fancy way of saying that I can't see the back of your throat. If I'm looking at your throat, with a light, I can't see the back of your throat. It's really narrow. All I see is tongue and the roof of your mouth.
Okay.
Okay. The next is enlarged neck circumference. So I truly measure someone's neck. If they're complaining of some other of these things, I measure their neck. So for a man, greater than 17 inches. For a woman, 16 inches.
Do you refer them to an ENT?
Well, that depends. If they're wanting a home sleep study, I will refer them to an ENT.
Ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Yeah, ear, nose, and throat. If they're wanting an in-lab sleep study, I will send them to a sleep specialist.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Are there any of those in the Blue Ridge area?
Sure. Yeah, we have an ENT at Riverstone.
Okay.
Yeah. We have the ability to do sleep studies at Fannin Regional Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do have that.
So when you do a sleep study, tell me about that. You go, you check in, you get your infamous plastic armband, and you literally just say nighty night, and they hook you up to
multiple things.
Multiple things.
Multiple things.
And then you're monitored during the night. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
So they do EEG. So you have some brainwave leads. You have an EKG to where they can monitor your heart rhythm, and they have a.
So it's pretty.
It's in depth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in depth.
Nice.
The other things I'm looking for are associated conditions, like AFib is actually one of them.
Oh, really?
Atrial fibrillation.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's why they do the heart monitoring.
Yeah.
In that sleep study.
Part of it, sure. Yeah, part of it. And the next picture, I really like this picture because it shows how the back of your tongue actually falls downward and blocks.
Oh yeah, it blocks that airway.
Yeah, which is causing the snoring.
No wonder I can't sleep on my back. I literally can't sleep on my back.
Yeah, most people with sleep apnea sleep on their sides.
Yeah.
They have better quality of sleep when they do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That I don't know what's so funny out there. I got the All-Star panel out there making fun of us when we're trying to get some people some quality sleep out there. All right.
I think she may be lining you up for a sleep.
I know, right? Hook up the leads. I'm ready to go. That's great information out there, folks. For those of you, for most of us, who for one reason or another can't sleep well at night. I don't know why. There's a lot of other reasons people probably can't sleep at night. Noise, light. Whether they've had a couple of pops before they go to bed.
Yeah.
Whether they've had caffeine before they go to bed. So, taking all that into account, you should probably back all of that out of the equation before you determine that all of a sudden you're suffering from sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Anyway, Justin has brought us some great information this morning. He's done a great job taking over for his colleague Doc Whaley while Doc and Jane are moving their way through Russia. I don't know where they are today. I don't know if they've got an audience with Putin this morning or what. But Jane is probably going to bring back a gold and jewel encrusted crown. She is queen, so Doc will tell us all about that when he gets back. So tell us who we're representing today again. We're representing the Georgia Cancer Specialists affiliated with Northside Hospital.
That's it.
Did I get that right?
You got it exactly right.
Justin, I've enjoyed being with you this morning.
I appreciate it.
It was a great segment, good questions, and when we come back, we're going to bring in a modified version of our All-Star panel. Jane's not with us this morning, as we've said about 150 times already. Cindy is going to be substituting for Jane. We've got Bruce with us today. So the three of us are going to tackle the problems of the world and see if we can make any rhyme or reason out of what this country's becoming. So, Josh, I appreciate you this morning. Take us to break, please.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Linda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked and Ella J next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked and Ella J next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella J, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hey, good morning. We're back. We are back indeed. We are at Sycamore Crossing this morning, sitting in for BKP while he is in PA. Love to use those initials. And we've got the ASP, the All-Star Panel.
Asps.
Yeah, the ASP. Right around your arm, right? We just had our Ask the Doc segment. It was fun to have Justin Nicholson here, a nurse practitioner from Georgia Cancer Specialists affiliated with Northside Hospital. We're here at beautiful Sycamore Crossing this morning. It is a absolutely beautiful morning here in Blue Ridge. I am joined by my charming bride, Cindy. She told me not to refer to her as an angry white woman, although she does get angry sometimes. She does get angry for what's going on and what we're all we'll get into that in the panel. And I've got my other best friend Bruce joining us this morning. Jane is not with us, as you know, because for for the 141st time, I've said that she is traveling with Doc Whaley in Russia. So, anything happened this week that we might want to talk about?
Well, lots happened. I mean, lots of stuff happened, and of course, some of it's reported and some of it isn't reported.
How do you feel about being lumped into the category of being a white supremacist and a racist?
It happens every week. It's no big deal. It's same.
Do you know anybody that is a white supremacist?
Well, first you'd probably have to expand that definition a little bit. But,
Okay, go ahead.
Again, I mean, if it's the classic is like a neo-Nazi or a Ku Klux Klan, someone who's like, definitely in a group that has very strong ideas about them being superior to other races.
So a white supremacist is someone that has deemed themselves superior to another race of people. Is that right?
Race, religion, right. They're a hate group.
Yeah,
they are, when white supremacists are attacking, as people would say, they're attacking not for political purposes, they're attacking because of hate. They attack the people that they think they're better than, they don't want them around. Hitler was a white supremacist, the ultimate white supremacist, I guess you would say. That's what a white supremacist is, which, today, because the media and the Democrat Party and liberal leftists, however you want to describe them, are using that as any term that relates to a white person. If you're white, you're a white supremacist.
Or a white person saying about anybody else.
Right.
A black person, an Asian, whoever, someone who they don't agree with.
Do you think the term is being used so much that it's watered down now?
It is watered down.
Yeah, it's lost its meaning.
Just like racist. Everybody now, if you don't agree with the person that you're talking to, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Now, how does that have anything to do with being a racist? Because you have a difference of an opinion.
Yeah, and look at the way they jumped on Trump's statement about the squad. It had nothing to do with the color of the women.
No. Color
as the
wasn't
media.
even there.
But he was talking about their merits, their aptitude or ineptitude in that case.
Yes.
And the media just ignored that, and they said, okay, these are all lovely performing freshman Congress ladies, and they went right to race. I mean, they didn't even talk about the merits.
And when he made those statements, he never mentioned color, race, gender, or names. And yet those four ladies decided he was talking to them. And the media ran with it, as did people in Congress and everything else, when he never, ever brought up those issues. He didn't bring up color. He didn't say people of color. He didn't say women. He didn't say their names. He didn't do any of that.
It's the classic rules for radicals. You just have your message point, whatever it is, racism,
right.
and you just keep saying it.
Buzzwords.
And you say it long enough, and
right.
I mean, everyone has it on the tip of their tongue now, and I agree, it's watered down.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't mean much anymore.
They are now liberal buzzwords. White supremacy, racist, racism. They're all
homophobe, misogynist.
Right.
I mean,
they're liberal buzzwords that are being thrown out for you don't like what I'm saying, you don't agree with me, and I'm right about everything, so therefore you're a racist.
What's the tone and tenor that we're experiencing out there in the mainstream media and everything? What do you think? I've got my opinion. What do you think it's doing to Trump's base and some of the independent voters who are going to be critical to the 2020 election and Trump winning again? What do you think it's doing to their heads?
Making them explode. I mean, people are really getting tired of this. I mean, because, the average person just hears this stuff, listens to this stuff, absorbs this stuff, lives with it, and just goes, okay, enough with it. I mean, it's overkill. In my opinion.
So does that ring positive to Trump?
I believe it does.
I do too.
Yeah, I do.
So you got 20 candidates out there, however many there are now, that are all ringing the same chime, saying that he's a white supremacist, he's a racist. I mean, in my opinion, I think this is doing nothing but expanding his base significantly.
Well, and then yesterday, and as both of you know, I'm pretty active on Twitter sometimes.
Really? Is that what you're doing at your computer? I thought you were buying stuff on Amazon
Right.
for me.
Well, I do that
You
too.
wish.
But the point is that Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece
Elvita?
came
What's
on
her name?
with
Alveda
a
King.
huge Twitter saying, I don't know what you're talking about. There's not a racist bone in Trump's body. There's nothing racist about him. He is not a white supremacist. This, that's a pretty big statement by a lady who, has worked with civil rights probably most of her life. And she comes out and says this. Other people are saying it. I just happened to be on a Twitter, I guess, argument. It could be a good thing with some person.
Exchange of ideas.
Exchange of ideas with a person who started out telling me about good old Uncle Joe and, how he was this and he was that.
Sleepy
and so
Joe?
on.
Sleepy Joe? Yeah,
and all
Sleepy
of
Joe.
that.
Sleepy Joe.
And, and Joe has been on a whirlwind this week calling Trump, basically doing exactly what the liberals, the Democrats want him to do, calling Trump a white supremacist, saying he's ruining this, calling him a racist, so on and so forth, and saying he does not say anything bad about the Ku Klux Klan. He does not say they're bad. The reason...
He said that on the lawn the other day.
Right. He said that.
Says, white nationalist group, any kind of supremacy groups, any of that stuff.
But you can see videos of him, for years saying that. But he was, which I did find out, ran in 2000. 2000, in the year 2000, he ran as a candidate for the Reform Party. He dropped out very soon after he declared his candidacy. Part of the reason that he dropped out was because good old Democrat racist David Dukes became a member of the party.
Of the Reform Party.
Of the Reform Party.
Yeah.
And Trump said, I will not be a member of a party that allows someone with the ideas of David Dukes. I will not be a part of that party. He actually said, I will not be a part of a party that accepts the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know how much more clear he can be. But Joe's out there talking about how he never, ever, says it's a bad organization.
Well, if you talk about it long enough and you try to, you just keep hammering and hammering and hammering, and the mainstream media does nothing to support anything that Trump does or says.
No.
They're all working off the same message points.
Right.
We have got to say and do anything to get Trump, unelected.
You listen to some of those montages that come out, and you just want to climb through the screen.
Oh yeah, you see the CNN people talking with whoever, the MSNBC people talking with whoever, and they're all saying the same thing.
Right. Nicole Wallace, that Trump called for the extermination of Latinos.
Yeah.
On MSNBC.
And she had to come up with
she had to walk it back with an unapology, is what I would call what it was, that she misspoke. No, she didn't misspoke. She didn't misspeak. She lied. She knew it wasn't true.
Right.
She said it. Then she walked it back saying, however, his rhetoric, that's all we're hearing now. His rhetoric, his rhetoric, his rhetoric. And he even said the other day on the lawn, I am trying to tone my rhetoric down. He is not. He didn't start out as a politician. That, in 2016, that was a huge thing to me, is people didn't understand this man is not a politician.
When he came down the escalator, you knew what you were getting then.
Right. He is a man who's been bankrupt, he's been successful, he became a billionaire, he's a businessman.
Privileged white man who took advantage of the
Privileged
system.
white man, yes.
Got all that money from his father, and what did he do with it?
He went into bankruptcy, basically, the first several times around, came out, became a billionaire, went to a great business school, sent his kids to great schools. He built an empire. There's nothing wrong with that in this country. That's what this country is about. People who can build whatever your empire is, you have the right to do that. That's why you're an American. That's why we live here. Of course, if it was up to... There won't be many empires if the Democrats do what they say they're going to do and get elected. So just please keep that in mind, people. They're taking away your dreams.
Well, you talked about the candidates.
Yeah.
I just happen to have this article.
Just happen to have
I
it
just
here.
happen to have it,
right
yeah,
here in
talking
my
about how,
formerly nicotine-stained hands.
the primary debates seem extra crazy this year, and they went through this, and basically they said the Democratic Party has tried to change the debate rules. And again, the media-driven political culture has made the debates everything that matters. So everything that you hear in the debates, it's a clip, it's a visual thing. It's going to be played over and over again. So
They're just 2 hours worth of sound bites.
Sound bites. The second thing is the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, is trying not to repeat the 2016 perception that the fix was in for Hillary Clinton.
Oh, geez, that's down in Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, that phony, I'm telling you.
And third, and as a result, far more candidates throw their hat into the ring than was expected. And then they get into this whole thing about qualifying, and you got to get so many, $1 donors, and they made what they thought was a great system to spread it around. It's turned into a quagmire,
a debacle. Yeah, exactly.
But it's an interesting article. I mean, it really is that you can see some of the things that they thought were going to make things more interesting for voters or clearer. It just blown up. And they end this article saying, the system blew up and fell apart, leaving a pack of wackadoodles dancing to a socialist teen
I like
pop.
that.
Wackadoodles.
Dancing to a socialist teen pop in the hope of getting $1 bills thrown at them by the Twitter mob. Oh, boy.
Well, it's so true, and they're all having to go so far left now because you get the Elizabeth Warrens and the Bernie Sanders and those people. God bless Tulsi Gabbard in that last going after Kamala Harris, who a lot of people say. I say Kamala, you say Kamala, I say Kamala. I don't know what her name is anyway. Miss Harris, who is a California radical. I loved hearing Tulsi explain how she laughed about putting people in, prison for minor incidences, and then she came out, of course, didn't say anything.
Yeah.
After Tulsi went after her, Kamala couldn't even. It was like she couldn't even talk, and she said she didn't speak because it didn't deserve defending and stuff. No, she couldn't defend it. There was nothing to defend there, and yet she's trying to, of course, walk that back a little bit because her ratings dropped tremendously. She will be, from what has been said, or what I've heard, that's who Barack Obama is. Ooh, please. That's who Barack Obama is supporting.
Do you remember during the Obama administration when he recognized her and how he referred to her? He referred to her as the most gorgeous
yes,
Attorney General.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
In the United States. I will never forget it
Right.
because I thought, man, that is just really.
She is attractive till she opens her mouth, and then she's mean. She's mean. If anybody watched the Kavanaugh debate, the Kavanaugh hearings, she was ugly. She was mean. She lied. She and Cory Booker teamed up, lied. It was ugly, and she did that in other hearings, not just that hearing.
Yeah.
Anytime she gets a conservative or a Republican to attack, she does.
Speaking of attacks,
Right.
I mean, there's been so many attacks on Republicans, whether it be people lining up in front of Mitch McConnell's house,
That's pretty bad.
And it's like that's the MO of the Democrats about attack. How many attacks have there been?
Well, let me tell you.
Let me tell you. How is that for a segue?
The reason I was introduced as being angry is because I've listened all week. Well, I've listened for 3 years, basically, to left-wing violence. And it's gotten to the point where what we started out with, we're doing a full circle here now that's all coming down to white supremacy and racism. That's kind of the reasoning behind all of this. But
here we go.
It just so happens.
I have 55 pages.
Actually, found a report. The report starts left-wing violence in the Trump era. Left-wing violence has increased 250% since the final days of the Obama administration.
Cite your source.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I've got 9 pages here of violence of leftists against Republicans, conservatives, anyone who is not a liberal, violence, only through 2019.
Physical violence.
Physical violence, throwing people out of restaurants, just anything, humiliating them in front of people. Even it started right off the bat, because in the immediate aftermath of the election of Donald Trump, CNN broadcast a non-spontaneous setup piece with Lily, I don't know who Lily is, who said, "We can't just do rallies anymore. We have to fight back. There will be casualties on both sides. That will be because people have to die to make a change in this world." Now that was right after Trump was elected. They already had decided the war was on. And
well, you got the likes of Maxine Waters coming out and saying we can't allow these people to. If you see them in restaurants, if you see them in gas stations, you've got to confront them. You've got to get in their face. I mean, how is that not inciting? Inciting violence.
And some people brought that up, and it just got poo-pooed by the media.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
she has
you
the
know
right
why?
to express her opinion.
Yeah.
Well, Trump supporters have been the victims of numerous targeted attacks, brutal violence, and hate crimes. By March 2019, 334 reported hate crimes have been committed against Trump supporters.
Yeah.
334 hate crimes against Trump supporters.
That's like the hats and and
mainly the MAGA
water
hats,
on 'em.
Covington people, Sarah Sanders getting thrown out of the Red Hen, Mitch McConnell being people on his front yard telling they were going to slit his throat.
That kid sitting at the Burger King, and the guy walked up and smacked him in the head and took his hat.
The security secretary, Kristen Nielsen, she was heckled out of a Mexican restaurant in D.C. This was all in 2017. Then I'll just show you pages from January to today, only August, so it's only the 8th month. There are 9 pages here of hate incidences against conservatives, against people who supported Trump. Maxine Waters has stood up on a podium in front of America and said, "Go after them." I mean, in so many words. So of course, to try to be fair, I started looking up right-wing violence.
This is a fair and balanced panel, I just want to add.
So I tried to look up right-wing violence against liberals.
Crickets?
I have nothing. I have nothing. I have something that says 14 times Republican officials were viciously harassed, threatened with death. I've got that article. And when I go to that, asking when are Republicans or conservatives going after left wing, it comes up all about liberals, leftists going after conservatives or Trump supporters.
But don't they really, the media drill down on all these shootings and stabbings and things like that, and always trying to find the political angle of the perpetrator?
Exactly.
Immediately they if this person is not a white male, they're just totally disappointed.
Yeah.
Also,
or you don't hear about it.
The El Paso shooter, in his manifesto, which said very plainly that he was an avowed leftist,
supporting Elizabeth Warren.
They literally took that away. The people in the media took it and tried to change his manifesto before it was published to say that he was right-wing.
Yeah.
The media was going to change his manifesto.
But the whole white supremacist thing gets back to Charlottesville and the guy who shot at the church in Charleston.
Right.
Because they say, he was a right-wing, gun-toting,
Right, but he wasn't doing it for political purposes.
Yeah.
He was doing it as what a white supremacist does. It was a church, it was a this, there were people they didn't like, and they went in
they
after
were black.
them.
They were black and he was white.
Right, exactly. It's just... That's what's made me so angry is I read a lot of these tweets and so on and so forth, and they try to, the media has now, which of course there is no journalism, there is no reporting, basically left in modern day media. They don't report. They report their biases. They tell you what they want you to think.
Yeah, there aren't any true news people anymore. They're all opinion mongers.
Exactly.
They're giving us their slant on on what's transpired.
Yeah, and if they don't say their opinion, writers or editorialists or whatever, I mean, the slant of their questions, the way they phrase questions and the words they use.
You got the Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
It has nothing to do with the race.
That's right.
Exactly.
They put him out there as a fair and balanced journalist to run a Democratic debate. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
And every question he asked, almost every
he prefaced
question,
it.
He would preface it with, "Well, Trump is saying."
We
this,
all know that
or,
Trump.
We all know
that Trump is an avowed racist
Right.
and a white supremacist.
So tell us.
Now, knowing that is fact,
Right.
Tell us what you think about this.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how they couch their news.
Exactly.
So, the gun debate has now reared its ugly head again.
Of course.
And you got Democrats lined up. You got Democrats lined up in the state of New York that are saying that because the police are having water thrown on them, it's not a big deal.
Well, I mean, there was a law that was brought up that throwing water on police would be a felony.
Right.
And the Dems lined up against.
Oh, they
almost
kibotched
immediately.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, it's the same thing
So,
with
water now. What's next week?
acid.
Well, before that, though, there was the big milkshake. I mean, I've got
With
just-
NIGO?
Oh yeah,
With Antifa and NIGO.
with NIGO,
Out in
the
California?
reporter. But that was a
Washington?
in
Or
Seattle.
Oregon?
Seattle.
Seattle?
Seattle.
Yeah,
Wasn't it
Seattle.
Seattle?
Yes,
Yeah, because it was Seattle, the mayor of Seattle, who didn't stop anything. They let him go right ahead, but that was the big time of somebody decided it would be real cool to start throwing milkshakes on mega hat people, Trump supporters, so on and so forth.
I think they
What
copied
did-
that from the Brits because they started with the
Exactly.
British politicians.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
With
Nigel
milkshakes.
Farage. Yeah, he got.
Milkshake.
He got shaked, huh?
But in the NIGO one, NIGO, right?
NIGO, yeah.
In his, they had put in the powder that you use to make cement. They had put that into the milkshakes.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, you wonder why he
Bink.
had cracks in his head and things like that. I mean, these people are vicious. And then you get Maxine Waters out there spouting off. Now you've got Joaquin Castro, who has, posted all these people. Not that it's not public record. Yeah, we know it's public record. But he didn't post them because it was public record. He posted them for political purposes, and to his chagrin, he happened to post one of his biggest supporters who will no longer support him.
Who came out in the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That sponsor said, "You'll never get another dime from me," which
Yeah.
is good. Good.
Well, back
there
to the
are
gun-
consequences.
Yeah,
to
the
At the
actions.
gunpoint.
Right.
Are we going to get
Gunpoint. Ooh.
effective gun legislation as the media and the Democrats?
I
would like?
think there's some things that can be done out there. They talk about,
Is it going to be enough?
well, it'll never be enough.
It'll
And
never
you'll
be
never
enough.
overturn the Second Amendment, I don't think. Even though what's that?
I agree.
They'll never overturn it.
But will states layer on restrictions to the point,
Well,
some states will have de facto.
California has already put regulations in place that you need a background check now to buy ammo, to buy ammunition. And if you're coming into California and visiting and you walk into a sporting goods store, you cannot even buy ammunition if you're not a California resident.
Wow.
Those are the new restrictions that they put
And
in
of course,
place
they're
out
not
there.
reciprocal.
And did you read that, Josh, about those restrictions?
And they're not reciprocal like any concealed carry with other states.
No.
California, New
No.
York, Illinois.
No.
All the.
Yeah, I mean,
California, where you can't have a mag release button, you got to have like a special key to release the magazine, and they've got all the limits on capacity there.
Yeah.
I think they're the most restrictive state.
Right. I don't disagree with some of the limits on capacity for some of the magazines.
Right.
I mean, this guy that came into the Walmart had 2 drum canisters.
Yeah.
That I mean, really, what do you need that? You don't need it for hunting. You might have some fun if you're out in the range, just to see how hot you can get the barrel of the gun before it starts to twist in place.
But I did hear, one commentator, who is a gun rights advocate say that, well, the police fired 58 rounds at him to take him down. He says, you know, I'd like to have that same capacity in my house to defend my wife and family.
Yeah, and you if anybody watched the I don't know what you'd call it. It was a free for all the other night on Hannity when he had de Blasio. Yeah, the giraffe.
It was awful.
De Blasio and
Softball and Mr. Waffle. I mean, that was terrible. He didn't answer anything.
He never answered a thing, and the only reason he came on to the Hannity show was because he's doing so pitifully poor in his support. He needed something, just like Castro did, to jumpstart. They needed to have some media exposure. So what does he do? He agrees to go on Hannity, and you'd think, listening to that whole debacle, that Hannity was the one running for office, because he was quizzing Hannity. Hannity asked him a simple question. He said, "Why can't I, as a private citizen, be allowed to have the same amount of protection that you have in your capacity? And why do all these politicians have all of this protection when we can't protect ourselves?" It's just.
And he wouldn't answer.
Yeah,
No, he wouldn't answer.
I'm not playing your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You're right. Exactly.
Okay, play your game.
But he said that on every question.
Yeah.
Whether it was abortion, whether it
You
was
don't
gun
make the
issues.
rules, or I'm not following
Yeah,
your rules.
no, I'm
or-
not playing your games. I'm not buying into this. You're not going to get me to say this. You're not going to. He didn't help himself politically, I wouldn't think.
Getting back to the question about the gun
Guns.
control, though, I mean, there's things we can do, and I don't, I don't, like I said before, I don't really have a problem with, limiting some things, closing the alleged loopholes,
Yeah.
doing universal background checks.
Well, again, there's great confusion over what you have to go through to be able to buy a gun now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a great confusion.
Right.
Yeah.
Or miseducation or misinformation.
Well, the Democrats will. The talking point is, well, you go into these gun shows and you can buy anything. I can't tell you how many gun shows I've been to, and you cannot just go in there willy nilly and plunk down $600 and walk out with your favorite gun.
Yeah.
You've still got to go through a background check.
There are still laws.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not enforced.
Sometimes they're not
just
enforced.
Just like at the border, just like in states in certain issues. When laws aren't enforced, then things happen.
Yeah, and I think.
And we have some of the laws on the books.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, just like the border.
Yes, exactly.
But I think there should be this thing with the red flag laws.
Yes.
Where people with
there's a lot of
mental
states that
issues,
have.
But then you get into cross purposes with HIPAA. All that's protected information.
Yeah,
over the patients.
explain what the red flag law is.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's people that have been deemed by schools or
a parent,
or relatives or psychologists or medical people to have some issues. They should be red flagged, and they should not.
And the red flag would allow them. Would provide some restrictions on their ability to acquire a gun.
Correct.
Acquire a gun or ammunition.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you got the guy in California that went crazy, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, that stabbed 4 people to death in California.
Yeah, you're always.
So
gonna
what
have
are you
that.
going to do? Are we going to take away all the knives now?
Well, and remember, I mean, in New York, they had the guy that drove the car down the
Drove
bike
the
path.
car. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
we going
mostly
to
visitors.
take minivans off the market now? If people are sick enough that they want to harm, injure, kill, maim somebody, they're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's available to them.
Explosives, gas, poison, you name it.
Yeah,
there's going to be ways.
We
to do
talked the other day about the joke. I bought this revolver. It's the laziest revolver I've ever had. I put it on the counter and it didn't kill anybody.
It didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything.
Didn't do
It didn't shoot anybody. It just sat there.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that you got to have.
Yeah, and of course, all these incidents are tragic in terms of loss of human life and injuries
Of course,
and things like that.
no one is downplaying the tragedy by any means.
The point I wanted to make was, if you look at roughly 40,000 auto deaths a year, that's about 110 deaths a day, 108 to 110 deaths a day on average. So you don't have a great outcry, to like ban all the cars,
Right.
and keep people from driving or raise the driving age or any of this stuff.
Right. We had
the
that
loss of life is tragic in either case, but
right.
there you go.
The tragedy down in El Paso, you got the guy coming down from, I don't know, some suburb near Dallas.
Yeah, 600
comes
miles.
down and inflicts all of that carnage in a Walmart store. And I've said on this show several times that the Hispanic community to the Democrats are that's the new black community.
Yeah.
What did you hear about all those poor people being killed? They singled out the 6 Hispanics that had come over to shop at the Walmart, and they made a bigger deal about not that life is more precious for one person than another, but they didn't talk about the 12 or 18 people that died that were from this country.
Mm-hmm.
They focused on the Hispanic community and the 6 that came over to shop at the Walmart store. And then you've got the president of Mexico threatening to sue the U.S. and claim extradition for the guy that they've got in custody that they wanted
to blow right through their country to our border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly. What about let's switch gears just a touch and let's talk about the ICE agents and how little support they're getting from the mainstream media and from the Democratic politicians wanting to do away with ICE and the candidates. What have we got if we don't have borders? What do we have if we don't have laws?
You get a de Blasio reaction from politicians all the time. They never answer it. They never address it. They never look in the mirror and say, yeah, I've been here 30 years, Chuck Schumer. What have you done?
Yeah.
What have you accomplished? What have you really, put your career on the line to do?
Right.
And the answer across the board is they can't agree on
anything.
crap.
Right.
Exactly.
That's a problem because we've got such a divide. And these people, these far left Democrats, are trying so hard to make you want all these immigrants coming into the country. There's no problem with immigrants coming into this country legally. The
Operative
whole
word.
operative word is legally. We have the border crossing areas where you can come in, you can ask for asylum, you can do this. We are a nation of immigrants. We all know that. But these were people that came over legally, that needed this country, that came over here legally.
Yeah.
What a concept.
This was a huge thing last night with this gentleman that we were discussing through Twitter, is, we need to be more compassionate. It has nothing to do with compassion. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with we are a country of laws. We cannot just keep letting people swim the Rio Grande or jump over fences or go dig tunnels underground to get into this country and then support them all. Do you get free everything? Do you get free everything? I don't get free everything.
Where did it become we're the repository of the world's asylum seekers?
Exactly.
Exactly. And again, a lot of these asylum seekers are like claiming,
persecution.
economic conditions.
Yeah.
Well, that's never been a reason for asylum.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
But where did it flip the switch that we're supposed to be the repository for anybody who wants to improve their life?
Right.
I'm sorry. Do it in your own country.
Well,
Right.
I asked the guy last night. I said to him, do you get free? Do you have to pay for your health insurance? Do you have to pay to send your kids to school? And he goes, of course. Of course. Because we're Americans. We live here, we work here, we pay taxes, we do what we're supposed to do, so we pay.
Yeah.
But these people that are coming in with no laws, no rules, no nothing, it should all be free?
Well, I think it gets back to the media making this like a human care issue.
Well,
Right.
you saw the first thing that happened when they had the
it's
raid.
tugging at the heartstrings.
They had the raid of 680 illegals. That raid was set up a long time ago, and they tried to blame it. They tried to dovetail it into, well, Trump went down to El Paso, and what do? you know, they arrest 680
chicken pluckers.
Chicken pluckers, you know, in Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah.
Now,
and half of them have been released already.
Yeah.
300 of them have, been released because, they didn't have any criminal things they could hang on them.
Right. And
they didn't make the news.
And what does the news media do? The first thing, they show this little Hispanic girl crying because they're taking away her mommy. Where's the outrage? Where's the news media why aren't they showing kids whose father has been just convicted of a DUI and thrown into jail, convicted of murder? Some of these other crimes.
Or the family of some cop that got killed by
exactly.
Or what about the kid that's been brought over here as a slave, a sex slave?
Yeah.
Or anything else?
Human trafficking.
Fit the narrative. They want to
exactly. It's just so disingenuous. It's just awful. Anyway, well, we're having some fun here this morning.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we've
having some fun now.
We're having some fun now. We've covered a lot of ground, but we've got to kind of put a wrap on this whole episode. It's been fun. Thanks for joining. I'll say to my wife Cindy, I'll say, we might need somebody on the panel. No. I said this time she was mad this week. She was mad. She fits that. I'm not going to say.
Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Again.
Yeah. I might say it off camera, but I won't say it.
You're right.
I will not accuse my wife of being a mad white woman.
Angry white.
An angry white woman. However, how about some winners and losers to wrap up this segment?
Ladies first.
Okay.
How many
I have three losers,
oh,
but it's quick because you'll all know them and you'll know why they're losers.
We got losers coming up here, folks.
My first loser is Beto O'Rourke, who I think has been absolutely horrendous in the way he has handled his rhetoric.
Democratic candidate for president.
For president about El Paso. He's lied, but all three of them have. So the next one will be Bill de Blasio, who sat on Hannity and lied and never answered the questions and truly acted like a blowhard. And my third loser is Joe Biden, who lied.
Sleepy Joe.
Lied about Trump and his association with racism or anything else that had to do with it, and he knows better. But he's being pushed so far left at this point that he doesn't know which direction he's headed.
He doesn't have to go left. He can dig in his heels and stay in a position. I mean,
right. But he's stating lies,
well,
and that's
of course,
the bad part.
he's wanting to go
He's
left.
better than that.
Yeah.
He really is a better person than that, I think. But he lied.
I think we should change the name to Slow-Mo Joe.
Those are my three losers. All, as you note, are Democratic presidential candidates. I could go through the whole list,
What a
but that's
coincidence.
okay. Yeah. My winner. Again,
all right, we got a winner here, folks.
Jerry.
Is Donald Trump, who wakes up every morning, faces the backlash, the hate from leftists, liberals, Democrats. He goes to work, and he works for America every single morning. And he, this week, in spite of Beto O'Rourke and the mayor of Dayton and the other people who were so very nasty, who never blamed Obama for the over 300 mass shooting deaths during his term, didn't even bring him up, but now we've got a guy who is causing this, but yet he wakes up every morning and he goes out and he works for the American people. You don't hear him talk about, it's only I, me. He talks about we, the American people, and he's working for it every day in spite of hate.
I thought you were going to say he wakes up every morning looking at Melania.
Well, he does that too. He's a lucky guy.
That ain't bad. Bruce?
Okay, I got my air balls and home runs.
Air balls and home runs.
Air ball. You talk about the government being in your life. The city of Dunedin, Florida, has a compliance office that basically keeps an eye on how people take care of their homes. And this poor guy left the state because a parent was in hospice, and he made an arrangement with a landscaper to cut his grass. The landscaper died. Nobody notified him. His grass got 12 inches high. The city compliance officer came by and said, okay, we're finding you. 57 days. at $500 a day.
Oh my goodness!
He said,
$26,000 a year.
Yeah, for $29,000
$29,000
with interest. And they're gonna. He says, I don't have that kind of money. They're gonna foreclose on his home because of this. So he's got one of the legal rights group in there to help him. So there's maybe light at the end of the tunnel. And my home run is didn't make the news hardly anywhere.
Of course not.
In local St. Louis news, 37,000 young people took over the city of St. Louis 2 weeks ago for the North American Youth Congress. This is sort of a faith-based group of kids that come from all over the country. And it's a 3-day event with classes and things like that. So they went through all their classes and services and everything, and then they went out and they filled 2,000 5-gallon buckets with supplies and toiletries for disaster relief, and went out and distributed that to the agencies that would have it for a disaster. And then on the last day, the organizers said, okay, we need to get money for missionaries and things like that. These kids, 37,000, donated $1,093,000
wow.
to support these missionaries and things like that.
Yeah,
so that's really nice news, good news.
Do you think you hear that on the mainstream media? No, you don't hear anything about that.
Excuse me for interrupting you, but to just add on to that, another shout out to the young Republican conservative group who on their own has gone into Baltimore, into the area that has been in such a disarray and that everybody's been talking about. At some risk to themselves to clean it up.
Elijah Cummings District.
They are not getting paid, they are not getting any recognition, but they're going in to clean up Baltimore.
My winner of the week is obviously going to be Trump, and I want to expand on what Cindy said. Rush made a phenomenal point yesterday on the show. From the day that he came down and declared himself a candidate, President Trump, his family, his administration has been ridiculed. They've been maligned. They've been subject of targets from the deep state. And what does he do? Like you said, he goes about his business every day doing exactly what he promised as a candidate. And as President of the United States, we need to support him. We need to commend him. And as I said earlier on, don't assume that Trump's approval rating can't climb, because it already has. The groundswell of support that is a result of the effort to malign him is growing exponentially, and I think it's going to be an absolute landslide victory, regardless of who the Democrats put up in 2020. So, thank you, Bruce. Appreciate you coming. Thank you to my wife Cindy for sitting in this morning, and we'll continue this conversation after the cameras stop rolling. But we want to make room for Jesse Barton this morning, our representative from Cameron Hall. The pet of the week just came in with Rena, and she's gonna follow Jesse. Jesse's got a guest with us today, so we're gonna see what's going on at the confines of Cameron Hall once we come back from message. Josh, take us to break, please.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
All right, we are back. We had a rousing debate with the All-Star panel. Bruce and Cindy joined us this morning. We appreciate their time and effort. If you missed the earlier segment with Justin Nicholson, our nurse practitioner and colleague of Dr. Bill Whaley, he did a great job on explaining sleep apnea and high cholesterol this morning. So we've got Jesse Barton here with us, our representative from Cameron Hall, and you've got a guest this morning. Tell us about your guest.
I'm so excited. I know you guys probably get tired of seeing me every week, and
I never get tired of seeing you.
Thank you. BKP, you might be replaced. I'm just kidding. But I'm so excited to have Stephanie with us. Stephanie, I've worked with since I came to Cameron Hall back in 2012. She's one of our amazing caregivers, and I have so much respect for Stephanie and what she does.
And all the caregivers.
All the caregivers.
Right.
But I have to brag on Stephanie. She has been with Cameron Hall. We were actually talking about babies and time passing and where her kids are at in school, and she's been with us for
7 years and 4 months.
7 years and 4 months, but who's counting, right?
That's right.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And it is, and that says a lot not only about Stephanie's character and her love of the job, but what kind of care we have at Cameron Hall, because caregiving, unfortunately, is a very high turnover industry across the nation.
Is that right?
It is. It's people get into it. It's a lot more than they think. I tagged along with these girls when I first started. I was so worn out when my shift ended at 3:30 that I couldn't wait to get home and put my feet up.
You actually spent a day with me working.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your day, Stephanie. So you get to Cameron Hall what time of the morning?
6:30.
Okay. And you've got family to attend to as well, is that right?
I have 3 boys of my own
and
a
boy.
husband. So, yes, I have a 9-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 20-year-old.
Wow,
so,
what?
Yes. Yes.
Did you start having children when you were 3?
No.
She looks 20 herself.
Oh my goodness! Holy cow!
But thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's well deserved.
Well, thank you.
You get up. You get up in the morning. You take care of your family. You make sure everything is squared away at the house. I'm sure your husband is a big help.
Yes.
And you get to work at 6:30 in the morning. And what's your day like?
We normally start off by getting them up and helping them get dressed.
And how many do you have a specific number of residents that
We're
you,
all assigned a hall.
Okay.
Okay. And it's usually 12 to 15 residents that you tend to in a day. And you normally get them up and help them get dressed if they need assistance and get them down to meals. And then we feed them breakfast and give them their morning coffee and let them have their little morning chats and let them know what's going on throughout the day. And then most of them go back to their room and rest a little while. And then they continue to go into exercise and whatever the game is for the day, bingo, whatever activities. And we continuously answer pages while this is going on, and we bathe them and assist them to and from meals throughout the day and answer call lights. And
so you probably, I'm sure that, number one, being there that long and having a specific group of residents that you tend, you become probably really close to these people, don't you?
They're more like family. I'm with them more than I'm at home, and you really get attached.
Yeah. You know their personal stories, you know their idiosyncrasies.
And that's the best part, to know their life stories and how they got together, how they got married.
Isn't that cool?
Going to college, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that gives you just some kind of a passion to show up every day.
Exactly.
And then, so what time do you finish?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, and then you have someone that comes
And
in
they
your
takes
stead,
over the shift.
and
Yeah.
they take over the shift. I got you. And then tell me what happens over the night. You've got a core group of people. You've got a smaller group that takes care of everybody when they're sleeping, and
And they feed them supper because we leave after lunch,
Okay,
of course.
yeah.
And so then they come in and feed them supper and get them ready for bed and get them to bed for the rest of the night. And then third shift comes in and they make their rounds throughout the night, checking on them and making sure they're okay.
yeah. So I'm a resident, and you don't show up one day. I bet you they're probably upset, aren't they?
Oh, they
Oh
notice.
my God,
who's
where's
there
my
and who's not
Stephanie?
there.
Where's my
Yes.
Stephanie?
I took my week vacation and they was just beyond theirself that I was gone.
That's just great. Yeah.
And I noticed, I was like, Stephanie's been gone a long time because she's just such a bubbly personality.
Right.
And, but I think she's under serving herself as far as what the caregivers do. When they talk about helping feed, we serve restaurant style, so it's not like a buffet. They're actually delivering the plates as if they were in a restaurant to each resident. They get to know what their favorite drink is. They get to know what their preferences are as to their desserts. And, they also sit down and, we've got some residents, I think about Miss Jean, that we just sit and talk to. And they take their time to sit down and really talk to them and make them feel so loved and important and, put a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So this, you may see me each week, but this is the heart of Cameron.
Of course, yeah.
So-
Now, how many Stephanies and Stevens do we have at the facility like that?
There's several.
Several,
Yeah.
yeah. And you say it's a tough role to fill. There's high turnover.
It is an industry, no matter where you're at, Metro Atlanta, all the way to the North Georgia area. It is a high turnover. You have folks that enter into it that may be going into nursing, so they start out in that CNA role, the certified nursing assistant or resident assistant role. So then when they graduate, of course, they want to move on to a nursing role. You have people that think they want to do it, and they get into it, and it's like, wait, because it's. The day that I shadowed you, I remember we helped a World War II veteran shower. It was uncomfortable, not uncomfortable for me, but it was something new for me.
Right.
And if that's not where your heart is, that can be a tough thing to do. So they get into it, and it's like, wait, this is way more than I bargained for. And of course, competitive wages is an important aspect of it. So with so many senior living communities coming up and nursing facilities, there are competitive wages out there. So you do tend to see people leave for, if they can get a little bit better benefit here or there.
Now I know this is not what Cameron Hall is, but I've got some personal experience. My brother-in-law was in a memory care center.
Okay.
And very similar. And you look at the dedication of some of those employees and the patience that they need to have, because you've got an aging population. Their mental capacity changes. They may repeat themselves. They may ask for something more than once. So the demeanor that a person like Stephanie must possess to be attentive, but also to recognize the needs of the patient, or the resident. I don't want to call them patients. The resident must be really special.
Yeah.
Yes,
and y'all
definitely.
do deal with those repetitive questions and
I mean,
you just have to know how to approach the situation and how to comfort them throughout the situation. And the more you know them, the better you can be at that, because you just got to know what they expect of you and how they want it played out, and it's just a lot to understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it takes there's no doubt in my mind that it takes a certain type of individual to be able to be well-rounded enough to say, well, this person is really, really angry today. Now, so what do I do as a caregiver? Do I scold them? No. Do I make them feel at home? Do I try to understand, what they're going through? Of course you do. So, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so delighted that you brought her along today.
Definitely.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. If Jesse goes on vacation, you got a spot here.
I agree.
You got a spot here on the couch. You're a great representative
Well,
of Cameron Hall. So yeah.
Yep.
What else is going on at Cameron Hall? Do we need to talk about anything?
We've got an event coming up on Friday, August 23rd.
Okay.
That is open.
Is that the donut shop?
No, you missed that.
I missed that.
This was this past week. That we had some good coffee and conversations at
Good.
that event. But on Friday, August 23rd,
Okay.
from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., we're going to have an event called Live Well, Stress Less. So we're going to be serving...
I need that. I need
Yes.
to stress less.
We'll teach you how to stress less. We have some folks coming in to give chair massages. We're going to be serving things like lavender smoothies and just pampering. And it's not just for women. Men can be pampered too. So if you're interested in checking out Cameron Hall, that's a great event to come in and not be so put on the spot to be touring. Maybe you're looking for a loved one and they're not ready to look. So this is a great way to...
Tell the folks out there what your website is and how they can get in touch.
So check us out on Facebook under Cameron Hall of Ellijay, or the web, which is CameronHallofEllijay.com. You can give either Stephanie or I a call at 706-515-4100.
If I'm checking into Cameron Hall, folks, I'm going into her wing.
There you go.
We always enjoy having Jesse Barton here with us on Fridays. I especially like it when I'm hosting the show because I get to spend time on the couch instead of Brian. So
Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
But we miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. Not. No, we really do.
Yes.
If your mama's looking in, get well, Mama. And we look forward to have Brian back with us next week. Next Friday, I'll be sitting over on that side of the couch. Brian will be here, hopefully, and we will we'll reprise everything that we've done today. Jesse, great to see you.
Good to
It was
see
so
you.
nice to
Nice
see
to
you.
meet you.
And how old are your kids again?
9, 17, and 20.
Let me tell you, if this is what it takes to look like this, go to work at Cameron Hall, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we enjoyed it. We're going to come up with our star of the show, the pet of the week. Who do we have with us today? Nico. Nico is back in the fold. We're going to have Nico, and we're going to tell you about an event that we've got coming up at the Humane Society. Josh, take us to break, please.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
All right, we are back. We're having some fun now. We've got Nico joining us today. Rena brought Nico in here, he is just so excited to be with friends and family that he can't see straight. Anyway, Nico comes to us from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge, along with Rena, who every Friday brings the star of the show. And today we've got Nico. Rena, you want to tell us about Nico?
Yeah, as you can see, Nico's very playful. Nico loves to play.
Hello, baby.
He is very strong. So he will grab the toys. He's very vocal. He will growl while you're playing with him, but he does not mean anything by it. He is not a mean dog.
Yeah,
there are dogs that are just vocal when they play. Or when you pet them. Okay, lay down, baby.
Rub your neck.
Lay down. Okay, lay down. There you go. Down. Down.
Now, Nico was adopted
Nico was adopted, and they did return him, I think, at the beginning of this week. And at no fault of his, what I was just explaining, he is very strong, and he loves to play, and he's very vocal. So when you do take any new animal...
When you say vocal, does that mean he barks?
No, he growls. Like so, if
okay.
if he's playing with a toy, and you got the other end, yeah, he's gonna go and he's gonna growl at it.
So was that intimidating? Do you think?
It was.
Okay.
It wasn't. Even though they were. It was explained to them, and we say everything about the dogs.
Let me tell you, this dog doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He's all play.
He's all play. That's just it. He's all play. He's very strong, and in this particular case, it scared them. You know, and we understand that totally. That's fine. When you do adopt from us, we give you our personal phone numbers. We give you have the phone number of the shelter. If you ever have any problems with any of our dogs, we will come to your house. We will help you. We will talk you through whatever problem it is.
I can attest personally to the fact that you've got to give these animals some time. I mean, these animals, a lot of times we don't even know what their history is or where they've come from or what they've endured.
Right, and you adopted one from us.
Exactly.
And you had to give
time. We renamed her Sadie, and Sadie is a wonderful animal, but she had her little idiosyncrasies, and she had to adjust to a new environment. Right. To new owners, to new voices,
new routine,
to a new diet, to a new routine.
Everything.
And that number one can be really stressful to an animal.
Yes.
So you got to give them time, regardless of what their background is. You see, Nico settles down right now.
Yes, as you can see, he plays for about maybe 10 minutes and then he's done.
Right.
He's ready for a nap.
Right.
So he's great in the car. He loves. I took him outside from the shelter, and he was so excited to just jump in the truck and go.
Sadie loves the car.
Yes.
I mean, if she thinks she's going to go for a ride all the way down to Atlanta, she's boing, she's doing back springs.
Yes, everything is great. And he would be a great walker. He'd probably be a great hiker. A fenced-in yard would be good for Nico, only because you can play better if you have a fenced-in yard, and you don't have to worry about them running away or something else getting their attention and making them run away. In my instance, at my house, I have dogs that roam free, and I can't play with my dogs. I have a fenced-in yard in the back, but we're always in the front yard. So
if you're hearing some heavy breathing on the mic, it's Nico. It's Nico down here next to the microphone.
Over here, baby. Come here. Come on. But anyway, so yeah, when you get a new animal into your environment, it takes time for them to learn their new routine, because they have a routine at the shelter or wherever they came from.
Right.
Even a rehoming dog or cat. They have to learn you have to learn about them, and everybody gets their space. So with Nico, the way that he is that, like I said, he'll play for a little while and then he's done. So let him go, and let him go lay down, and let him take a nap, and then when he's up again, he's ready to play again. So, but you can train him the way that you want him to be, but there still has to be time for him to get to know his new environment and for you to learn everything about him.
Now look at how calm he is right now.
But he is a great dog, and he, like I said, he is very strong. And if he does pull me, I just do a little yank on the harness here, and he just looks at me, and I'm like, slow down. Yep. And he's good with that. Yep. It's a matter of training, and it's not a lot of training. He's very smart. But anyway, so Nico's looking for his home. He's looking for a home, a great companion. As you can see, he will be by your side. Kids are good. He likes kids. You just can't be afraid of him. You're going to have to be able to say no to him, and teach him. So other dogs, that's going to have to be a meet and greet. Sometimes he likes other dogs, sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
I did not bring the puppies because every puppy has been called for.
Nice.
Can you believe that? 8 puppies.
8 puppies, and this is Mama. I don't know how well
Emma.
you can see
that's
that.
Mama.
That's Emma. Emma has a new home.
And yes, she does. She hasn't left yet, but she does have a new home.
Emma has a new home. Emma was rescued by the Humane Society.
Yes, she was in animal control.
We didn't know it when we took her in, but all of a sudden we found out that she was pregnant.
Yes.
So we've had some really, really dedicated caregivers come in, and I can't think of their names right now.
Sue and
retired Orlando police officer
He just
and
escaped
a
me.
nurse, I believe.
Yes,
the two of them.
Phil and Sue.
Phil and Sue took care of these puppies from the time that they were born. They built toys for them. They built a home for them.
And everyone else at the Humane Society. I don't want to leave anyone out.
Exactly.
But Phil and Sue really came in, and they've done a lot, like you said, building the toys and maintaining, teaching, walking, things like that.
Yeah. Puppies are easy. When we have puppies, they typically go very quickly.
Yes. The older ones,
but the older ones, like Sadie. Sadie was actually a puppy. I think she was
less than a year.
Yeah, she was less than a year, like
months,
something like
8
that.
months, yeah.
So she'd been with us. She's been with us almost a year now. She had a birthday, and she's a wonderful animal. She's become part of our life. But again, you got to give these animals a chance to adapt. Once you adopt, you got to adapt.
Yes. And the pros with an older dog is they're house trained, or will tell you whatever needs to be done. Normally, they know how to walk. They have their ways, and you just need to learn that and train them for your ways. It's very, it's pros and cons. Puppies, you're going to have to potty train. Puppies.
Yeah, we've got a great adoption event.
Yes.
Coming up that we want to talk about.
Yes.
It's
August 17th,
and we've got a Let's Fix It program, which is a $20 spay and neuter. I mean, folks, get your pets spayed or neutered.
Yes.
If you don't want to have puppies, regardless.
There are so many unwanted animals out there, and this is the reason.
Yeah,
you must spay and neuter your dogs.
Absolutely great
and
deal.
Cats.
Come out and see us. We're going to be there on Saturday morning from 9 to noon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have vendors out there. I can't remember who they are.
I don't remember who else there.
I spoke to Sheriff Kirby yesterday, and he's going to try to get the canine unit
that would be
to
nice.
come out there
I did not know that.
and have a presence on the grounds. You'll see, hopefully, folks like Nico and several of the others.
Yes, we still have Jinx and Juno, and we have 2 others that are small, Coda and Sienna, I forget which one. And I just brought a new one in yesterday, Atlas. He's in intake right now.
Nice. We are at 171 Mineral Springs Road, which is right near where Mineral Springs and Aska come together.
Mm-hmm.
There's we've got a 17-acre campus there. We've got a dog park that people take advantage of every day. We've got a section for small dogs, section for big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be up on the hill. We come and walk our memorial garden, which is absolutely spectacular. And
I believe there's also coupons for microchipping.
Yeah.
Yes.
First 100 include free rabies shot.
Free rabies shot.
And
yes.
there's also a microchipping.
Yes,
available.
and microchipping. So, it's a great event. We need you to come on out. Thank you. Woohoo! Go ahead and talk. As you can tell, Nico
is being Nico right now. Anyway, Rena, we love to have you every week.
Thank you.
We love to see the puppies. We're glad they've all got homes.
I guess he's done with his nap.
Yeah, I want to once again thank Josh big time for making this all happen. Brian, we miss you. We hope you have safe travels coming back to Blue Ridge. We look at this guy.
He likes belly rubs.
That's the life, man. I'm telling you. Rena always gives us a treat every Friday by bringing the pet of the week. Come out and see us August 17th at, again, 171 Mineral Springs Road. Thanks to my wife Cindy and Bruce for taking up with the All-Star panel. And Justin Nicholson, a colleague of Doc Whaley, our nurse practitioner today, who gave us some great tips and hints on sleep apnea and high cholesterol. Anyway, so everybody have a great weekend. It's a beautiful day here in Blue Ridge. Come up and see us. The North Georgia Mountain beckons to have you come up and visit. So
follow us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go to our website, humanesocietyblueridge.org, or call us if you have any questions.
Nico, you're a hoot. Anyway, Josh, have a good weekend, man. Take us out of here, would you?